factors ranging from everything from crime to weather. High school graduation rates, divorce rates, and highway fatalities are also factored in. New Hampshire was named the most livable state, while West Virginia, Alabama, and Louisiana rounded out the bottom. He came to South Florida to relax on the beach. He was killed in West Palm Beach. Detectives say you can help them find who's responsible for the death of a tourist from Stockholm. Perhaps you'll have some vital information after watching tonight's exclusive News Channel 5 Crime Stoppers reenactment.
Investigators are trying to track the last hours of a victim in a tourist murder in West Palm Beach. Eduardo de Jesus Rodriguez Bell left Stockholm on April 28th, arriving in Miami on April 29th, and into the West Palm Beach area around 4:30 that Friday. Police then believe Bell was seen at a Shoney's restaurant at Belvedere Road and I-95 on the same Friday around 6:30. And then reports show he was possibly seen at a local strip bar, the Landing Strip on Military Trail, between 8 and 11. Bell's body was found the next day at noon in a remote deserted area of Cherry Road in West Palm Beach. Investigators believe the victim's death was caused by strangulation and that a good amount of money was stolen from his body. Bell is described as a white male, 43 years old, 5'8", 150 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a blue short-sleeve button-down shirt, brown pants, and brown boots.
I'm Jim DeFago, the coordinator of Crime Stoppers of Palm Beach County. If you have any information about this case or any other crime in Palm Beach County, please call Crime Stoppers.
If you have any information on this crime, remember you can remain anonymous and you may be eligible for a reward. Call Palm Beach County Crime Stoppers at 1-800-458-TIPS. All you have to do is step outside and you can tell summer is right around the corner.
Up next, meteorologist Kent Earhart shows us what's in store for the rest of the week.
Police, we're told, are talking to one suspect but have not made any arrests.
The emergency room nurse held hostage at St. Mary's Hospital 2 weeks ago is back on the job and talking about her terrifying ordeal. Jessie Anderson has been working at St. Mary's for 23 years. She says she was just trying to help a prison inmate who was about to be released from the hospital when he slammed her against a wall and held a razor to her throat. SWAT team members surrounded the emergency room as the prisoner demanded his release in exchange for her life. Anderson says a million thoughts were going through her mind as she found herself helpless.
And then you were concerned that what he might really do. From time to time he would get real agitated. And when he got real agitated, you were concerned that he might actually hurt you if he got agitated enough.
Fortunately, the prisoner's girlfriend talked him into surrendering. Here's a shocking finding. Rapes on college campuses are 14 times more likely to be committed by a friend or acquaintance of the victim rather than a stranger. A new poll shows nearly a third of the women surveyed said they had been victims of rape or attempted rape. And of those questioned, 93% knew their attackers to some degree. A Florida State researcher conducted the study.
The organizers of an upcoming Hispanic festival are upset tonight after the city of Lake Worth told them they could have the event but forget about selling alcohol. News Channel 5's Yvonne Marquez has been looking into the controversy, and here's what she found.
Miguel Laving runs El Palm Beach Latino, a Spanish newspaper that's organizing its first Hispanic festival. But 2.5 weeks before the event, Lake Worth City Commissioners turned down his request to sell alcohol.
There's too much pressure within the city for them to vote for this, and it would cost them probably their seats or their mayor posts or whatever they have. But, I mean, that's their problem. That's not my problem. This is discrimination, and I'm going to call it all the way down like it is.
Lake Worth Mayor Rodney Romero says it's not discrimination. The city has an ordinance allowing only city-sponsored events to sell beer and wine.
That ordinance does give the city the power to deny anybody based on whether they think it's going to be a good idea, obviously not based on any race, creed, color, or religion.
However, Lake Worth Vice Mayor Dan Shepard says he felt the commission had committed itself to giving Miguel Laving the go-ahead on the festival.
I thought we were also leading them to believe that Bryant Park was acceptable with beer for this particular event, but not for other events, since we'd committed ourselves.
The Latino Festival was going to be held here at Bryant Park on Sunday, June 26th, but since beer and wine will not be allowed, it's been moved here to Singer Island. But in the process, the organizer says he's lost $5,000.
We're still going to have all our bands, and we still have all our major sponsors, Coca-Cola, Presidente Beer, Televipra, a bunch of other companies that are sponsoring this event that are very much into this, and the entire Hispanic community is behind us.
That's Yvonne Marquez reporting. Tonight, the attorney who fought to protect the rights of women seeking abortion scores a financial victory. A judge ordered the defendants, including Operation Rescue, to pay this man, lawyer Barry Silver, $216,000. Silver won a permanent injunction against abortion protesters last year, ordering them to stay 25 feet away from abortion clinics. Silver represented the National Organization for Women who sued the abortion protesters.
You could help solve a murder case still on the books. It happened recently in Boynton Beach. Watch tonight's exclusive News Channel 5 Crime Stoppers reenactment.
It was a quiet night as the victim, 33-year-old Alfred Sloan, left his condominium in Boynton Beach at 25G Crossing Circle. He walked slowly along the sidewalk and opened the door to his red 1994 Mazda MX-3, which was parked in the parking lot directly in front of his condo. Sloan settled into the driver's seat when suddenly he noticed movement. Out of the darkness, a suspect, a black male, came running across the parking lot towards Sloan and his car. The suspect ran up to the window and fired his gun 5 times through the driver's open window. The suspect then raced away toward a gold 1981 Oldsmobile station wagon, speeding away in the dark parking lot, leaving Sloan dead in his car.
I'm Detective Andrew Kalen, the Boynton Beach Police Department. If you have any information on this case or any other crime in Palm Beach County, could you please call the Crime Stoppers?
Remember, you could earn a reward and you can remain anonymous. Call Palm Beach County Crime Stoppers at 1-800-458-TIPS.
Movers go out on a limb to transport a tree.
Also, an injured manatee gets a...
This could be a picture of Turkey Point next month. Okay, something could blow up over there.
Dire warnings from Thomas Saporito. We've heard from him ever since he was fired from the Turkey Point nuclear power plant 8 years ago. He says it was because he leaked safety concerns to the federal government. But we haven't heard from these two men. Men who also say company cutbacks and management attitudes are an explosive combination.
It's a joke. I get maintenance sheets right here. Oil and service should be tested at frequent intervals, 3 months. There's a breaker right now I can take you to. They haven't dropped the tank in 6 years. And someone's going to get killed out of it.
Bill Flint, an FPL electrician, says he's been suspended after saying he wouldn't work under unsafe conditions. He fears for workers at substations as well as at the St. Lucie nuclear power plant and Turkey Point. Richard Reichenbach says he was fired after asking his boss about unsafe equipment at Turkey Point.
My biggest fear is that this not only was irresponsible attitude towards safety for workers, but that this can lead to another 3 Mile Island.
Finally, someone is listening. 2 Nuclear Regulatory Commission investigators came to town today to hear more.
While the interviews continued here throughout the day at Saporito's office, NRC investigators refused to go on camera, saying they want to keep the investigation confidential.
And FPL is playing it cool as well. A spokesman says he can't comment until he takes a closer look at the whistleblower's concerns or hears from the NRC itself. In Jupiter, Evelyn Cole, News Channel 5.
Now, Evelyn adds that NRC investigators must now decide whether or not to continue looking into the claims of unsafe conditions.
Today, the state said goodbye to the first of hundreds of criminal aliens. Of the 24 shipped off today, half are from Colombia, while the balance come from 8 other nations. The state granted clemency to nonviolent foreign offenders to make more room for homegrown criminals who otherwise might be released early.
We'll repeat this process until every criminal alien that we can release gets out of here, and we're delighted to start that now.
If these inmates return to Florida and are caught, they would be sent back to the slammer to serve the rest of their sentences. They may be illegal, but it is not hard to buy fireworks in South Florida. And today, sheriff's deputies in Martin County made spot checks of roadside vendors. News Channel 5's Mark Kaler traveled with the officers, but as Mark discovered today, the responsibility for staying within the law rests with the buyer and the seller.
The variety is incredible. Most roadside fireworks vendors offer everything from sparklers to large explosives. Some of it is potentially fatal in the wrong hands, and vendors say they make that plain from the start.
That's what's wrong now, is stuff is not used under adult supervision. The parents let the kids do what they please.
Sergeant Paul Laska spot checks Martin County vendors, make sure everything is legal.
But enforcing the law isn't as easy as you might think. For example, these jumping jack fireworks, technically speaking, are illegal in the state of Florida. But if you can prove you're a wholesaler and that they could be shipped out of state, then they can be sold here.
The basic rule is anything that explodes is illegal, but loopholes like the wholesale clause exempt most of the dealers. That doesn't mean you're in the clear, though.
You're setting them off, someone makes a complaint, a cop comes by, he's going to seize them, he may arrest you for it, and he has that right.
It's a sticky situation for police, buyers, and vendors. Once Laska finished his inspection here, it was clear we were no longer welcome.
I'm asking y'all now to leave like he did. I'm asking y'all to leave again, please.
We left your premises.
No,
not
this is my premises here.
Oh,
Please leave again.
This is his premises. This is legally your parking lot.
But you'll be welcomed if you have the money and motivation to buy. Just remember, if it is illegal, you won't be able to blame the vendor for selling it to you. In Stewart, Mark Kaler, News Channel 5.
Sergeant Laska says more fireworks vendors are aware of the laws and the technicalities. He says they make an effort to stay on the good side of the law since litigation is costly and the current laws allow for a good profit.
A motorist struck and killed a pedestrian overnight. This fatality happened on Lake Worth Road west of Lago Lucerne. Police believe the victim was a transient from Cape Canaveral. According to a witness, the pedestrian walked right in front of the vehicle's path. Police identified the driver as Patricia Carter of Lake Worth. Police have identified the victim but have not yet contacted his relatives. The driver was not injured. There was nothing special in the air for these passengers on board an overnight flight on American Airlines. Flight 901 was headed to Buenos Aires from Miami when it encountered strong turbulence over Jamaica. The rough air injured 14 passengers and 4 crew members, so the pilot turned around and headed back to South Florida.
We were all eating and suddenly everything flew to the air and began to drop on us, and well, some people were injured. Many of them just hit the ceiling.
Passengers left on another flight this morning.
The Anti-Defamation League is throwing the book at the religious right. The group has published a volume criticizing right-wing Christians, saying they want to impose their will on society as a whole. The ADL says the book is the result of a year's worth of research. The publication traces the religious rights efforts in the 90s and examines its leaders and growing political clout. A murder mystery in Boca Raton has now captured the attention of Ohio investigators who are looking into a similar crime. Last August, Boca Raton police discovered the body parts of a woman in this lake near Clintmore Road. And the Clark County Sheriff's Office in Ohio is now checking out the case. They're investigating a murder in which a victim's body parts were discovered in 3 different counties. Today, investigators told News Channel 5 they're running out of leads in their case. So they're hoping to find helpful information in other cases around the country which involve dismemberment. So far, though, they say they have not found any connections between the killings.
Crime is a lot like the weather. You often discuss it but feel as though you just can't do anything about it. But thanks to Crime Stoppers, that's really not the case. Watch this exclusive News Channel 5 Crime Stoppers reenactment closely tonight. You could help police solve a recent murder. It was late on Thursday night, May 12th at about 10:11 at night. The store in question, Sunrise Discount Beverage at 207 Southeast 2nd Avenue in Delray Beach, only had one customer inside talking on the telephone. Police say the suspect, a black male, walked down the sidewalk and entered the store. Suddenly, and without warning, the suspect turned to the Haitian male on the telephone and shot him. He then turned back to the clerk behind the counter and, without saying a word, fired the gun at him. Both victims fell to the floor with serious gunshot wounds. After the shootings, the suspects then turned and raced away from the store across the street over the railroad tracks. The Haitian male on the phone died of his injuries, but the store clerk survived his wounds. Police say the suspect is described as a black male, 5'6" to 5'9", about 150 to 190 pounds, with a 1-inch afro.
Hello, this is Detective Jeff Goldman of the Darby Beach Police Department. If you have information on this case or any other crime in Palm Beach County, call Crime Stoppers.
Remember, you could earn a reward and you can remain anonymous. Please call Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen if you have a clue, 1-800-458-TIPS. Well, the government just might ban a chemical widely used by Florida farmers.
Just how safe are students on the Treasure Coast? Not as secure as you might think.
And Mother Nature, not man, might be a big